And feel free, Ida, to jump in here, interrupt me. You guys have questions along the way. I'll try to pop this open and take a look and see where I want to make sure I'm basically touching on the things that you guys really want to know about. And really my intention with this is to add as many stories as I can from agents that we know that are using the BombBomb software very effectively. And so I'm going to drop those in here wherever I can. But I'll kind of take you through maybe 3 or 4 of the top features and benefits of the BombBomb account. And so you're seeing my screen here. You've got a couple different things up here on the top left. You've got emails, lists, forms, drips, and videos. And so I'm going to take you through and along the way show you what each of these does and then show you how to use them specifically for real estate, because we have some people doing some really amazing things. Emails, in fact, I'll kind of go through and show you how things get created in that, and again drop some examples in here as we go. But if you have questions, Ida, you can unmute yourself and just interrupt me, because I'm not going to open that up here very often. So emails, this is the screen that you see here, and we're in my account. So the screen that you see here, this is where an email gets created every single time. And so the easiest thing to do is to click on New Email here. You're not actually going to see that. We're switching over to a brand new composer, and that's going to be out here very shortly. And so this comes up every single time. So you have this blank template. You can type your headline, you can insert a video, the body, everything goes here. And what almost everybody does every time they do that is click this button over here, which is Use Template. Now, Ida may have mentioned to you there are some templates that are already in every single real estate account and specifically branded for Remax. When you go through your account, up in your profile here, when you choose My Profile, it'll ask you some questions. Make sure that you have real estate, and then you'll have another drop-down to choose Remax. And then you'll get some of those templates, and you'll see them over here. And so you already, in addition to the Remax templates that we put in your account, you have over 300 additional templates, from holiday greetings to thank you to all that fun kind of stuff. And as you select these, you'll see them pop up over here. I've got some team templates. We have some RPR stuff here, and I'll try and remember to take you through and show you that. So when you choose a template, I'm going to choose this one over here. You'll see a preview over on the right-hand side. Make sure that that's the one that you want to do, and then I'm going to choose that. So to kind of give you a little bit of a tour of what these templates look like, there's excuse me, there's places in a lot of them where you can insert your own logo. Some of them actually pull your logo and your profile picture. In fact, most of the real estate templates do this. They pull your profile picture. So in your profile, again, in the same spot up here, it'll ask you to upload your logo, your profile picture, and it will pull them automatically for you and insert them into the template. You've got places in all these where you can edit the text, and so you can delete this and insert more text over here. All these pictures, all these links, everything you have the ability to edit on the fly. So if I wanted to make this a link, I'm just going to highlight it, go over here, and I can link this over to BombBomb.com if I wanted to. So very easy to do. Adding images is just as easy. There's a button over here, so just insert your cursor wherever you'd like to do that. Yeah, go ahead.
Justin, I just got a note from one of the attendees. He's just asking if you could just slow down when you're clicking around, because I think it's taking them just a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, the screen might be behind a little bit.
All right, thanks.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So there's a place here where you can add images, and then video is actually done the same way. So most of our templates, there are very few templates that don't have video placeholders, but even in those templates you can add a video if you want to. Just because, so we give you this black background here, and if I click on that, I will go over here and click on Add Video. Now, just because that's up there doesn't mean I need to put a video there. I can go down here to the bottom, and the same thing, I can add a video directly from this location. But I'm going to do it from here, and I'm going to click on Add Video. Now there are 3 different ways we give you to insert a video to every single template and email that you're going to send. The first is to choose an existing video, and when I do this, I get a drop down, and all the videos that I've ever uploaded to my account are here within that drop down. And so I can select that, and it's going to pull that video up. And before I insert it, I'm going to show you these other few ways, but if I just hit insert my video here, it's going to populate that directly into that email template. The other two options I have are to record a new video, and so I'm going to do this, and if I hit allow, it's going to pull up my webcam, and I can record a new video right on the fly. I can give it a title and do all that here. I can also insert from YouTube, and so what you're going to do is find a video on YouTube. It does not even have to be your video. You're just going to find a video on YouTube, and you're going to paste the URL into this line right here, and it's the same thing. It will pull that video up. I'm going to go back to this one, though, and insert my video, and you'll see that it populates just directly into this new email template. Now, a few things I want to show you at the top of this, more housekeeping type things, but they're a little handy to know along the way. We give you a couple fields to fill out when you start every single new template or every single new email that you're going to send out. You can call it a title, and this is just internally for you. Nobody that you're sending it to sees that. And then every time you send an email, you have the ability to change the from name as well as the from email address. So you can change those just directly on the fly. So in other words, if I said, hey, I wanted another agent to use my account to test it out, or maybe we're even sharing one, I can change this to their name and their email address. And when that gets sent out to either one person or a group of people, when they reply to that, that reply is going to get sent to this email address that you have up here. And then, of course, you have the subject line. I'm going to show you a few things at the bottom of this as well. When you compose an email, it's going to pull in a number of things, and you can get notifications on those. First and foremost, these notifications are alerts. Pre-populates, this is the address in my profile, so it will by default send me notifications to that address if I select any of these boxes. The first one is notify me when somebody opens this email. So I get an instant notification in the form of an email when somebody that I send this to opens the email. Secondly, I get a notification here if I check this second box, notify me when somebody plays a video in this email. So this is really cool, and we have a number of realtors who are doing this. They might just list a house on the market, or they're signing the paperwork with a new client. And what they tell us that they do is they do like a quick 3 to 5 minute tour. Not very professional, and the best camera, because I always get this question, the best camera is often the one that you have in your pocket. And most of the time that ends up being a cell phone. So whether you have an Android or an iPhone, we have apps for both of those, for iOS and Android, to very easily shoot a video and upload it directly to your account without having to go to the website. So we have agents who are very quickly recording a 2 to 5 minute video and saying, hey, this house is 1,800 square feet. It's 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. Here's the backyard. Check out across the street. 1 block away is the elementary school. It's a great location. And they might, on the fly, whether they're in the online account here on the website or from their mobile phones, send that email to maybe a handful of people that they think they're already clients or prospects that they think would be interested in that house. Now they get an instant notification if they choose one of these that somebody either opened the email or clicked play on the video. And the interesting thing about that is now you have the instant benefit here is now you know exactly when you should follow up, because that person just watched your video. They opened the email, watched your video, and now they're at the most interested that they'll perhaps ever be to look at that house when it's top on their mind, and you can call them back and say, hey, sent you that video, what'd you think? And we have a number of agents who are very successfully using that. We have sharing options that you can that you can share it directly from Facebook and Twitter, and what that does is right at the top of your email, it'll put those links here, and I'll show you that here in just a second. You can also include show forward this email link at the top of your email, and in fact, I'm going to hit save while I'm talking about this. I just did this one. Show reply with video link at the top of your email. Now this is really interesting, and think about testimonials. If you just closed a house, put a new buyer in a house, or you just worked with the seller, you can send somebody an email and say, click this link at the top of the video, or at the top of your email here that says reply with video. And when they do that, they get a little recorder that shows up on their internet browser, and they can record a video directly from their webcam. And when they hit submit, that video is not emailed, it is loaded directly into your account, and now you can use that as a testimonial if you like. We also give you a landing page, so what I'm going to do with this is click this, and let's see if it's updated. This is essentially what your email is going to look like. I mentioned that these two, in fact, let me go back here, and I'm going to save this one more time, and we'll update this here. And that didn't take it. Sorry, sometimes it takes about 30 seconds for it to make sure it's all updated. When I do that, though, all three of these will show up at the top of the email. In the reply with video, I clicked that last, and it's not showing up there yet. But this is essentially what your email is going to look like. This is also a landing page. So if you created an email and you wanted to share that email on Facebook or Twitter, this is the link that you would share right there, and we do a short link, so it's very few characters. You can share it on Twitter with no problem, and that will send people to this page. We don't have BombBomb branding on this at all. This is the exact email that you sent. It doesn't even say BombBomb up here in the URL. It says BB email delivery. So this is branded to you. We work very hard to take all that other branding out and make sure that your brand is first and foremost front and center. And so the big issue with, there's a lot of people that are making videos, and they're really good videos, and they're sending them around, and they're sending people to places like YouTube. And the problem with that is when you go to YouTube, you have an awful lot of what YouTube calls, or they deem related videos. And it seems like somehow most of them have cats in them. And YouTube's #1 goal is to keep browsers, the visitors on their website, on the YouTube website as long as possible. We want your customers to stay on your brand as long as possible and not get distracted with other things. And so we give you the ability to do that. So that's what this emails tab looks like here. And I'm going to go back, and you'll see the email that I just created, and it's going to populate here in the very top of the list. And that's this new email. Now, you can, if you've created an email in the past, you can very easily copy that. And so if I hit this copy button, it would create a duplicate of that email, and you can go in and edit that so it doesn't change the original email. A few things that I want to show you with this, and let's look at this. I'm going to hit the track button. It's also notable that you can share your video, or you can share your email. You can do everything. This is kind of your dashboard, so we're going a little bit deeper here. I want to show you the analytics that you get on the back end of this. You can hear at the top who opened it, who clicked on it, who played it, did anybody share it, and then as we scroll down, we get deeper into these analytics. So we see how many of these were sent. Did anybody complain about it? In other words, did they click a spam button? We didn't have any on this. I did have 2 bounces. Our software automatically categorizes this on the back end, so there's a lot of things that happen on the back end to make this work that you don't have to worry about. You can see the number of opens, the total clicks, and the plays here. These gray bars are industry average. So we have an industry average. We would expect something like a newsletter to get opened about 13% on average. This email that I sent actually was opened over 55%. So over half the people that received this opened it, and of those, just over half of those clicked on a link within that. And then we can see that almost half of the people that opened it clicked play. And we see some really interesting things on this over time. I'll go a little bit deeper on this here and show you stats on the actual video itself. but you can see that you have all of the very detailed analytics on the email that you sent. I'm going to skip forward and click on the Videos tab here, and you're going to see all the videos that I've uploaded. Now, some really interesting things that you can look at here on the fly, and let me just kind of pause right here. And again, Ida, if you've got any questions coming in, feel free to, if it makes sense, to interrupt me here. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going.
We have one question regarding the limits on how many people you can send at one time.
Sure. Okay. Great question. That is the only way that we charge differently. All the features, everything that I'm showing you today, it's included in every single account level, and we charge based on the number of unique contacts that you have in your account or unique email addresses. So this, you don't really want to use BombBomb as your CRM or your database of people. You want to use BombBomb to store the people that you are actually going to be emailing, and so we have different levels, and you can see that at bombbomb.com/pricing, or click on the pricing link, and it starts, the first level goes up to 500 contacts. And Ida has a discount code for you as well. So if you need to buy it, don't buy it yet until she passes that along to you. So what I want to show you here is you see three different little colored graphs here, or charts. And I want to tell you, I want to point out what this is and give you some insight into this. You can see that as I mouse over this, you'll see that the first number that changes is the period of time. And depending on your internet connection, that may not be the smoothest, I realize, but it gives you three indications here. How far into the video we are. The second is how many viewers are still watching at that brief moment in time. And then of the people who could click play, what percentage of the total? So I'm paused here, and it says 89.4% of the people, let's say maybe 2/3 of the way into the video, are still watching the video. That's really good. I'm going to go up to this red one here, and I'm maybe halfway into the video here at the 30-minute mark. It shows there's 3 viewers at this point, and that's just less than 7% of the viewers. Now, I would actually expect that. You can see that it's pretty green right there in the beginning, and we've got up to about 30 people that actually click play, and they start falling off, and you see by the end here I've got 1 person left that made it basically all the way through. Because this was a 60-minute video. That's a long video in the internet world. This one is green pretty much the whole way through, and it's probably about, just over a minute. What this tells me is that the people I'm sending this to really prefer short and sweet videos. This was the replay of a webinar that I did last week or the week before, and then this was an announcement to our affiliates, and again, a very short 1-minute video. Keep in mind that we have short attention spans. We live kind of in the McDonald's world. We want it now, and the video is the same way. So if you're sending long video, we give you an indication of how successful, how many people are continuing to watch that. So if you're starting to see a lot of red in your videos, people are losing interest in what you're talking about. Perhaps it's too long. There's a lot of things that it could be. And here's another one that changed to red, and this was, again, a long 60-minute webinar. This one's interesting. You can see that it's pretty steady green here, and then it starts to trail off right in here. So it gives you really interesting analytics on that. Let me go into this, and I'm going to look at the tracking here with this video. We saw, I showed you first and foremost just a bit ago, I showed you detailed analytics on an email. Now I'm going to show you analytics on the video within that email. So you can see here, this is the video of the email I showed you just a bit ago. Total views, you can see plays per day. And it started out, actually, when I first emailed this, we had 67 people that day, and it started trailing off. And it actually started picking back up. And over time, this chart will actually, if you send a video out, and now it's 2 months later, you'll see all those days in there with number of plays. Again, you get that same video engagement bar, a little bit bigger than I showed you before, and you can see who specifically is watching the video. And then you get videos by device. So with this particular video, I can see that 42% of people watched this video on their Mac, and they were watching it within the Mac app, which is the email, Mac Mail. Then you can see Chrome, Firefox, iPad, and so you get all of that. Internet Explorer is here at 15%. So we give you all those indications, and you can really drill down into those specific videos. Again, the most important part of this is knowing what kind of content, how long should it be, what do people like hearing you talk about. In other words, if this starts changing, if it's green all the way through and all of a sudden it's yellow and red at a very specific point in time on your video, you might look at that video and go back to the 28-minute and 37-second point and say, and replay that to see, did I start changing and talking about something different? Perhaps your audience doesn't like that topic. And so that gives you a really good indication about your marketing message. And again, instant notifications on. You have a question?
Yeah, we have one question. Go ahead.
Oh, when you're seeing unknown viewer, I've only made one video, so I know who I sent it to, and they all come up, other than myself, as unknown viewers. Is that because their emails are not in BombBomb? I didn't list them as contacts, or because they got on their phone instead of their computer?
There are a number of reasons. That's a great question. I can't tell you for sure, and I'd have to ask our developers and engineers, but you can see them over here. So 5 days ago using the Mac app, right here is an unknown viewer. I don't know this in this specific case what that is. In a lot of cases what that is people forwarding your email to their friends, and because they are not in the BombBomb app and you didn't specifically send that out to this person named Mark, we don't know who they are, but we can see what technology they're using. That is most likely the case, but if you're sending it to a specific person, there might be an instance where they have some sort of software blocking that on the back end. But it depends. I mean, in this case, you can see that a lot of these had email addresses as I just kind of scanned through, and that's probably blurry on yours. Every single one of these has email address. And then as I get up here, up to the top, I see a lot of these are unknown. And the unknown ones are the most recent ones. And I do know that in this case, a lot of these were forwards on to people that didn't attend this class, and I didn't initially send the video out to. That's a great question. Let me mention a few things that I think you guys would be interested in. This list tab isn't very exciting, but it's how you store people. In other words, groups of contacts. I have a lot of lists in here. I have 4,212 contacts. And when I mentioned before, suppression list, if you have bounces, those get suppressed. If over a period of time our software tries 1 or 2 times and the address isn't correct, they get added to the suppression list, and it doesn't count against your level of contacts. So this is a great way to categorize all of the folks within your list. If you wanted to send a list of prospects who are thinking about buying, you could have that. You could have another list of prospects specifically focused on selling. I don't want to go too deep into this, but we have a really interesting integration with RPR. So you guys probably have RPR up in your area. The website is narrpr.com. It's free if you're not using it. I'm sure some of you are already. It is an amazing tool, and now we integrate directly with RPR. If I go to my profile here, I'm just going to show you what this looks like, and I'm going to click on integrations. And then within this, depending on, I have a number of these, and you may not have all of these. Welcome Mat is another integration that we have in real estate, but RPR is really interesting. I'm going to click on settings, and again, this integrates with your free RPR account, and the website, again, if you're not a member, is narrpr.com. And as a realtor, I believe they told me the other day, 85 or 92% of MLSs in the U.S. are a part of this, and your dues already cover that. So here's what's really interesting. And let me actually, I'm going to load another page here. I'm just going to log into RPR while this is going on. And let me see if I can do this, because I think this is really a very interesting, good, that worked perfect. Let me show you what this looks like here. So we give you the ability to name a workflow, and a workflow is what you want to call it. In RPR, you have this really cool ability to send market reports and updates, but you've never had the ability, and this is why RPR partnered with us on this, you've never had the ability to send that to groups of people very easily. You get a really cool looking PDF report, but you can't send that very easily to a number of people, and now you can. So if I wanted to say, hey, market activity report, and I might have this market activity for a zip code perhaps. RPR, we could spend hours on how to even use RPR. It's a really fascinating system. You can go in there and draw diagonals and outline a specific neighborhood if you wanted to, and then you could pull a market report for that and say, I want to send that every month to people who are interested in perhaps buying or selling a home in that neighborhood. So what I do is I'm going to go into the BombBomb account here. Let me just move this over. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to call this a new workflow, and I might call it whatever the name of the neighborhood is, Ivywild perhaps. And I'm going to choose an email. This is a template that we already have set up in your account. You'd choose that, name of the template, and then I would choose that list. Again, this is all those lists that I just thumbed through a second ago. So I might say Ivywild buyers, and I would choose that from the list, and I would hit create. It would add it down here, and it would make up this email. And here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this email address here. We have a really good support article on how to do this, and it takes about 3 minutes to do it, which is shorter amount of time than it takes for me to explain it. So I'm going to copy this email address, and when I create a report, I just populate this delivery method into here, and then I say get report. And as soon as I do that, here's what happens, is that report is created. The email that we designed, and you can actually go in and customize, that email is sent to this list pre-populated with this report. So I might have 500 names within that list, and I can create this report, and at the touch of a button, once it's already created, I can go back in. This is one that's already created over here on the left side. I can go back in and resend that to the list, and it takes me about 10 seconds, and I can do that monthly, and 500 people just got a market report for their neighborhood. It is super slick and very easy to do. And again, if you guys want to see the support article, we have that on our site, and I can look that up and send it to you. So we have a number of integrations. Contactually is a big one within real estate to help you manage, stay up on your relationships. That's a good way to do that. Let me show you two more really quick things, and I'm going to give you some examples with this because I think they're really interesting ones. We give you the ability to create forms. And let me look at, let's just look at this new form here. This is what it looks like when I create a form. So I'm going to go in and create one, except I actually have one created here. And this is what it would look like. Welcome to your new form. All of this is customizable. So I can change the headline, I can change the colors and the text, and then I can also give it these input fields. First name, last name, email address, phone number. You can add them, you can remove them. These are all of the fields that we have right here. Organization. You can create a new field. You can make them check boxes, radio boxes. You can do all sorts of things with this. And then you can also drag and drop them. So if I wanted to put this first name here right in the middle, I can do that. Interestingly enough, we also added the ability to record a video directly within this form. Here's what it looks like. Again, we give you the short URL, so I'm going to click and open this up in a new window or in a new tab. And this is what it looks like. There's nothing else on this page. It's a blank white page, and this is your page. You can put pictures on it, your logo, you can change the background, you can change the color from white to blue if you like, and we also give you templates to be able to do that. So here's how we have a number of people using this at open houses. They might have a laptop sitting on the counter or even an iPad, and if they're talking to somebody and a person walks in, they might not talk to that person, or a couple of people that walk in. Well, you guys are in the business of referrals and collecting leads, and if somebody walks in and you don't get their info, that lead just slipped through the cracks. So what these people do is they leave a note or have the iPad up or the computer up that says, if you want the MLS sheet, if you want me to email you some more info, just fill in your info here on the iPad and I'll send it over to you. So most of the time what they're doing is saying first name, last name, email address, and maybe phone number, and not including this video recorder. And so they're doing that, and most have it set up to automatically, when somebody does that, add that person to this list, and now here's another rule. When somebody is added to that list, reply to them with this email, and that email might have the attachment of the MLS data directly there within the email. So all of that happens automatically. It all happens behind the scenes, and now you can follow up with that lead that is trickled in, and you may not have even touched them. You would have lost that lead in the past. Here's another way that we have a customer named Jeff in New Jersey who is using it sort of the way we have it set up here. Every time he works with a new customer, he sends them an email with a form that looks very similar to this, that says, hey, thank you so much for doing business with us. If there's anything that you loved in how we worked with you or anything along those lines, I would love for you to record a testimonial. And it works just like this. They hit allow on this button right here, and this little gray box turns into a video recorder. I'm not going to do it here because sometimes it messes with GoToWebinar. But it gives them a recorder. It turns on their webcam if it's attached on their computer, and when they hit submit, when they're okay with their video and hit stop and then submit, you get a notification that their video is in your email, is in your BombBomb account. And then
Justin,
what you can do with your videos on this page, yes.
Oops. Sorry. Do they have to have a webcam?
They have to have something connected. No, it's okay. They have to have something connected to their computer in order to do that. Yep, so it could be a webcam either built in or plugged into their computer. Almost every computer nowadays comes with the ability to do that. So most of the time it's already there. On the video, we give you the short link again, so you can copy this and send that to somebody, and it will again expand into a longer link like this one is. We also give you the ability to share your videos, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+, and you can embed it. So when I click on this here, again, you get the short link and you get the embed code. I can change this here. If I wanted to say, hey, make this really big at 800, when I click resize, it just changes this in the code. You don't have to know anything about code. When you copy and paste this into your website, and then this video, easily create video, where I'm talking about the best video camera, this video is embedded into your web page. And so we give you all the tools and resources to do that. Okay, that's forms. Let me show you one last tool here, and this is Drips. Drips gives you the ability over a period of time to send out emails. So this is a new affiliate sign-up. When we have a new affiliate join BombBomb, they get a welcome email from us instantly, and then 3 days later, you can see right here, 3 days later, we also send out this email to them. And it's more helpful additional information, and you can see that some of these I have a whole bunch of them set up on this. 20 days later, people are getting an email, and they're very, very easy to set up. And this one, I can add an email to it. I just select the email from my account. I can say how many days after the initial one does this get sent. And now, I think we're one of the only ones in the industry doing this. I can select the time of day according to my time zone that this is sent. So in other words, in the past, if somebody signed up for my list at midnight, they would get an email at midnight on these autoresponders, but now I can edit that and say, oh, I want to send that to them at 9:30 in the morning. And it's as easily to do as that. One other thing that I want to show you, because there's a number of ways that you can send a video. You can create a video on any camera imaginable, on your phone, on your point and shoot if it has video capability, on a DSLR, on a webcam, and you can upload it directly through the Videos tab. Additionally, you can also hit this Quick Send button, and when you do that, you get a little slide up here that allows you to instantly, again, I'll hit allow here, and it's going to take over my webcam, and I'll record a video directly into my account. I don't have to get my phone out even. It's just that simple, and I can send to this person's name. I can enter a subject line and then a message if I wanted to, or just send the video. Under options, this is what this looks like right here. So it's very simple. I have a quick send template here, and you can customize these again. We have a happy birthday one. I know these are small, but I have a happy birthday. I have a thank you. We have a number of things in here. I just stick to the very simplified one. Here's how we have a woman by the name of Angie. She has all these leads coming into her real estate firm, and she has a hard time following up and actually hearing back from people. So if I fill out a lead form, and so now my information is passed on to a real estate agent, I might fill out several of those a day, and I might have 5 or 6 agents trying to get a hold of me. So my phone's ringing off the hook. I have emails. I don't know who to respond to. Who's going to be the best one? Well, Angie's office administrator sits down in front of the computer as these leads come in. She hits this quick send button, so this pops up. She sees a picture of herself in here as she's recording, and she records a 15-second video maximum that says, hey, Bob and Sue, my name is Joanne. Your info just came into us. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background and show you that we're a real person. And I'm really looking forward to connecting you with one of our agents who can help you find the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house you're looking for. Just respond to this email, or we're also going to reach out to you with a phone call, and we're looking forward to helping. And that's 15 seconds maximum. And Angie said that her office administrator began sending those emails, and she sends a number of them all day long. And she said the conversion rate, the response rate of people actually responding to those video emails has gone up 4 times. So think about that. That's a 4 times increase in the number of people. She didn't increase her leads 4 times. She had the same number of leads. So she didn't have an increase in cost for the number of leads that are coming in or the amount of time she has to spend following up with them. She's still, in fact, this is probably simpler and quicker to follow up with somebody by doing this. And her conversion rate has gone up 4 times. So there's a pretty good return there. We could talk forever, but I want to make sure that I'm getting your questions answered as well. I mentioned earlier the ability to send videos directly from your mobile app, whether it's iOS or Android. So you can record a video on your phone, which the majority of the videos that I send out of my account are recorded on my phone. You can get a tripod for about $7 on Amazon, and I'm just going to scroll through here to a couple. In fact, both of these are outside. One of them's in the snow. The other one's a similar location about a week earlier when you still had leaves on the trees. So we give you the ability to do that. The tripod, I think it's called a Joby, J-O-B-Y. Honestly, if you just search on Amazon for iPhone tripod, they fit all the phones, and you'll see them in different colors, and they're great. They wrap around a car mirror or a tree branch or a railing. The quality of the video at the end of the day comes back to fit you and your brand. We have people that are using iPhones all day long. We have an agent in California who's listing $20 million homes and is hiring helicopters to do video shoots. And then drones are in the mix as well. So there's some interesting things that you can do, but at the end of the day, whatever you're sending out has to fit you and your brand. So let's open it up, and I'll pop this open and see if you guys have any questions. I don't see any in there. Ida, do you have any follow-up, anything else that you want me to touch on?
Okay, Jill was asking if you had any idea of anybody that's sending this out after an open house, or how they're utilizing it for open house follow-up.
Yes. Yeah. Great question. So open house follow-up, and let me tie this into the example I gave with forms here. So I'll go back into the forms, and let me actually show you this one because we really tricked this one out. Let's look at this here. Oops, actually I want to do this. This is the same form without a white background. We can really trick this thing out and edit it however you want. So we have a number of agents at open houses, again, who leave an iPad or something along those lines out. But even if you just have somebody fill out a piece of paper with their name and email address, maybe phone number, the more you want to have as few barriers to entry as possible. So the more fields you ask people to fill out, the less likely they are. Think about a long field with your name, first name, last name, email address, phone number, address, and zip code, and how'd you hear about us? Somebody looks at that and says, I don't know if I really have the time to do that. So you only want to collect the amount of information that you actually do need. So this is a form that, again, is a very simple one, first name, last name, email address. You might have something like this on an iPad or a computer at an open house, and somebody fills this in. Now, what happens is that you can say when you create this form, in fact, let me go back into this form and show you that. When you create this form, so I'm going to click on Edit here, it's going to give you a number of options of really interesting things. What it actually created essentially is a single-page website here. And so what I'm going to do here, let me see if this is turned on. Okay. So after somebody fills this out, I have right here, show this message, thank you. And so what you can do, however, is to say, copy this URL, and when somebody fills that out, instead of showing them that message, redirect them back to this. So if I filled this out and hit register, it would reload a blank, this same exact form, so somebody else could fill it out, and I don't have to go back there and say, click here to do another one. You can do some really interesting things. Automatically add the contact who fills this out to one of these lists. I can create a new list, and what folks are doing in open houses are naming the list with the address of that open house. And so when people fill that out, I can go back to that list, pull that up in the list view, and see who filled it out. Automatically send the contacts, when somebody fills that out, send them this email. So I can go through here and basically send them a thank you email, attach the MLS data, and that sort of thing. I can also add them to a drip. So over a period of time, they might get a drip campaign that I create for new prospects that says, here's the 12 things you should look for when buying a new house. Here's what you should look for when working with a new agent. And I can set those up. It takes work to set those up on the front side, but after they're set up, they are automatic and they're in place. And you have leads that people start responding to those, and you don't have to do any additional work to it. You can also go into your list, and every time, again, you create a new email, I might create a brand new email here and send it to that specific list. So I'm going to go back into the email that I first created when we started talking here. It's ready to send this. I'm going to hit the send button, and say I'm following up with the people who filled out that form for that open house. I can go in here and I can choose to create one at a time, just my name, and it adds it right there. Those don't count against the people in your database, by the way, but you're limited to 10 people by typing it in here. Or I can choose this list, and I can find the one for the address of that open house and send it to that one if I wanted to. So very, very easy to do that, and then when I hit send, it's going to go directly out to those people. That's a good question. There's a lot of people that are doing some interesting things. With drip campaigns, let me give you one example. We have a guy who, let me think of where he is. His name is Dave, and he's in Texas. And so Dave recorded this video in his car. He has a little dash mount, and so he puts his camera up there, hits record, and starts driving around. And you can't tell exactly where he is, but you can tell there's houses in the background. And Dave says it's a very sincere, straightforward email. And he says, hey, I'm in your neighborhood, just driving around, and really just wanted to tell you again, I appreciate your business. And if you know of anybody who is in the market to either buy or sell a home, I would really appreciate the introduction. And he has that set up on a drip campaign that goes out to every single one of his customers. So about 6 months later, by the way. And so here's how this works. When he closes a new customer, either a buyer or a seller, he goes in and adds their name to a list. And he has a rule set up here in his account that when they're added to that list, send this email through a drip campaign 6 months later. So he does no work other than spending 5 seconds typing their name into a list. 6 months later, that email is automatically sent to those buyers or sellers, and he's always driving through these neighborhoods. So he's not being deceptive here. But remember that email or that video he recorded said, hey, I was driving through your neighborhood, and really just thank you guys for working with me, and I'd love to get more referrals, right? That kind of thing, said in a better way perhaps. So that goes out automatically, and Dave tells us that he has about 5 or 6 people a month respond to that video, to that email, and say, hey, I'm copying Bob here. He's told me he's looking for another house. Bob, I worked with Dave about 6 months ago. He's a great agent. You'll love him. So about 5 or 6 times a month, he has leads come in that he does not have to pay for, and they happen automatically. And so that's how I would combine either one or two of those things and work them together. It's a great question.
And just a couple of questions that came in, but before you get off the drip campaigns, when you create that email, you're allowed to send it to 10, but your list has more than 10. It'll send it to the list, everybody on the list, depending on your limit of how many you can send, I know.
Yes, absolutely. So when you open this, you can type an email address into here. So if I said, hey, I wanted to send this to me, you know, I'm going to do this, and then, you know, we have Ethan that works here, and I could say, so I can send that over to them, and or I can also send it, you know, here's a list of, I think my biggest list, well, here's one that has 751 contacts. So I'm sending it to those 751, and you can see that right here, and I'm also sending it to myself, which is an additional one. And if that's not spelled right, but if I do that, now I've got 753. So it will send to all of those.
Okay. And then we have a couple more questions. Can you import contacts from other sources and maybe have them go into a list or anything?
Yes, great question. Let me get into the list tab here. And I do this all the time. So you can create a new list, and we're just going to call this, you know, it's new. So it's a new list. I'm going to create that. And you can see it's spinning here, so it's updating. Oops, it's updating that one. Let me go into this one. So I'm going to choose that. So now I'm in the new list. There's 0 contacts in it. There are a number of ways to add. I'm going to click the Add button. I can type in my info here, justin@bombbomb.com. And I'm going to have to click I certify I'm not purchasing a list. We are a whitelisted email service provider, meaning we have relationships with the email service providers, and they help our emails get into the inbox and avoid the spam folder. And that is very important. So we always have these messages out here. We don't allow you to purchase lists. You have the permission to email these folks. Additionally, you can also browse, and it's essentially it's a CSV file. It's just an extension of a spreadsheet. So whether that's in Apple Pages or Microsoft Excel or any of the others, CSV is the generic. It strips out a lot of that formatting. So most of the places where you have contacts right now, including Gmail, allow you to export into a spreadsheet, and then it's a one-click button here to browse and find it, and then click import into your account. Within the next 2 weeks, I believe, we're launching an integration with Gmail. So if you use Gmail, let me see if I have it turned on here right now. If I hit compose, I don't have it turned on right now. I can type in the message, and then down here, if my cursor's in here, you get a little box down here with the BombBomb logo, and you click that, and you get a video recorder. I can record a video and send it through Gmail without having to go into the BombBomb app. So it's a really cool technology. We also have a Chrome extension if you use Chrome as your browser, which is the most popular browser out there now. It'll show up right here, so I don't have to be logged into my email. I don't have to be logged into the BombBomb account. I select that extension. Again, it pulls up a video recorder, and the same thing. I can type in my email recipients and hit send directly from there.
And that boils down to the last part about pricing. So how does the pricing work if you're sending emails from your Gmail or other accounts? How does the pricing work?
So let me show you what this looks like. So here's the pricing levels, and I assume that you'll be able to pass that. I think it was Remax 10 is the code, but you have a link that. Oops. Sorry, you have a link that when you send that out to folks, it's all included in there, so people won't actually have to type Remax 10 into the discount code. So here's how that works: is we charge based on the number of contacts, like I mentioned earlier. Most people will start here at the lowest level, which is the best place to start, I think, unless you know that you already have 2,000 people that you're sending out a monthly newsletter, perhaps. Then you'll choose that over here. The only thing that we charge against is the contacts that you store within your BombBomb account. And so I'm in my list right here. I have 4,212 contacts. If I go in here to this one that has 40 and I deleted it, or everybody in that, my contact level would theoretically decrease by 40, meaning if that would bump me down to the next level, that would bump you down to the next level, and that's all we charge for. And I say theoretically because if one of these people is in 2 lists, well, I only deleted her from this list. I didn't delete her from every list. So you can click on names of people, and you've got a database so you can see where they're subscribed and all of that stuff. So that's how we charge, is based on the number of contacts that's in your account. And the Remax 10 will get you those Remax templates as well as a 10% discount.
Okay, we have one more question. On the contact import, do we have to identify, or is there a format to identify the fields to import, or is it just email, first name, last name?
Yeah, so when you do that, it's a fantastic question. Let me see if I just have one here. I don't have any that are ready to upload. So you can see that I have email, first name, and last name. Those are all I keep track of in all of mine, but you can do that on the fly in every list. If I also wanted to keep track of phone number, physical address, spouse's name, you can do all of that. And then so you have columns within your spreadsheet, and when you import the list, so when you click here and then browse and choose import, it'll begin importing, and then it'll ask you what is the field name. So it'll pull out, if you have email address, first name, last name, and phone number, it'll ask you with a drop down which of these columns is the phone number, which is first name, last name, which is email address. So it'll ask you that on the fly, and you can categorize. And then everybody across the board will be categorized that way as you import that list.
So, Justin, just another question. If you have, let's say, 100 contacts that you want to import in here, and then you're going to re-import those, or part of those contacts, as part of a specific list. Now, those count twice then, right, against your 500 limit?
Most email service providers would count them twice. We don't. We think that's kind of stupid. we only count them once.
So even if they're on a separate list?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if this person right here is subscribed to 3 different lists, we only count that as one contact. And the way we separate that out is by email address. So if you have one person that's subscribed to, that is in 2 lists, and they have 2 different email addresses, that is counted as 2 different people. But if they're using the same email address for both lists, it's only counted as one contact for pricing.
And just one more question, this is out of curiosity. If they're on your mailing list and they want to opt out, do you have an option for them to opt out of a mailing list?
Yes, every single email that you send, unless it is sent through Gmail, which is the other way to send a video. Otherwise, all the emails are sent through the BombBomb server from your name. So they're sent from your email address, but they're sent through our servers. Every time that happens, which is going to be the majority of time for most people, there is a link at the very bottom of the email where people can opt out. So they can unsubscribe. If they're subscribed to multiple lists, they can choose which ones they want, which ones they don't. And that is all specific to the link that they click on.
But if they send it from Gmail, they'll have to add that. Is there a way to add that to the Gmail? Because I know it's part of that CAN-SPAM Act. You have to have that.
Yes.
If they're sending
well,
it.
So here's the thing with Gmail, because when you send regular emails through Gmail, you don't have an unsubscribe. So that's like if I was sending you an email, you can't unsubscribe from the emails that I'm sending. If I just hit compose here and typed up an email to you, you can't unsubscribe from that because I personally sent it from my personal email. Video with Gmail is going to work the same way. In your Gmail, you will not be able to send to the list that you have set up in BombBomb. You'll have to go to BombBomb for that. And so the really cool thing about that is if you're sending to somebody on the fly, it's like if I'm just typing up a message to my mom and wanted to include a video, I can do that real easy. So this is more kind of one-off type things. The videos do actually get included in your BombBomb account, but we don't have the unsubscribe and the spam. We don't have any spam issues with that because you're not using a third party. You are actually using your email service provider, which is Gmail in that case. Does that make sense?
Yep. I have a personal question. Do you guys get flagged by using the BombBomb? Just because, you know, the whole bomb thing, and you know, people want to it's like, what kind of email is this? You know, BombBomb. Do you guys get that at all or no?
We don't. No, it's pretty rare actually. We have really good relationships with the internet service providers. The biggest problem for us is going through internet security with shirts that say BombBomb on them.
And you have the option to get rid of that as well. That's one of the things. If you don't want the bomb, if this is sent by BombBomb, there's an option that you can pay for to get that.
Yes. There is white labeling. I think it's $10 a month or $120 a year to remove the white label. And so you'll see the really big, you know, like the Bank of Americas and all those companies. They're using internet or their email service providers. They're paying in those cases really large sums of money to remove that branding. And that is the only time that you'll see BombBomb is at the very bottom of the email. It's a very tiny link that says sent using BombBomb, and it links back to the website. If you don't want that on there, again, it is just $10 a month to remove it.
And the Gmail integration you said is going to be released sometime soon?
Sorry, you cut out there. Can you say that one more time?
Sorry. The Gmail integration you said is going to be available sometime this month or next month?
It should be this month, yes. I want to say they're very close to it. They're on the 6th iteration of it right now. It's in beta, and so we've all been using it. And I think I turned it off last night, so I don't have it on here. It's really slick. And so what happens when again, is you can add on all sorts of different things to Gmail. But when you compose and your cursor is here within the body of the email, there will be a little logo down here, and you'll select that, and it'll insert that video recorder directly into your email. And so on the fly for doing things like that, the bottom line is that we want to make it as easy as possible for people to use their software for sure, but for people to do their jobs. And for you guys, that's real estate. And that's connecting with people and building relationships. You don't need something that you're going to have to add to a to-do list and check it off at the end of the day. You need something that becomes a part of your everyday workflow. And Gmail was the next logical iteration for us because you're always in your email inbox, and Gmail is a very popular service.
Great. I just want to ask people online, we have 9 people attending online, if they have any questions, I can unmute you guys, or just raise your hand, or just put it in the question or chat box if you have any questions. So I know we've answered a few of them. Are there any other questions? Let me just unmute them really quick and see if any of them have. Hi everyone, I'm unmuting you guys, so if you have any questions, go ahead.
Zillow, but I'm not excited about Zillow. I got off of Julia because it's too expensive for what you get. Not everyone's like Mark and Deborah were leads from Zillow. But we've so far just not done the rental. We haven't really.
Okay, I don't know if she was actually talking to us.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Anybody else? I just muted Diane Brisk. If anybody else have any questions, you're unmuted. And Diane, if you were asking a question, I apologize. It sounded like you were talking to someone else.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys again. And do we have any questions here, guys? Any other questions? I think that's it. So, Justin, I just want to say thank you again.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You can send out the link.
Yeah, we're going to. I'll send out the link to everybody, and we're going to actually talk about some strategies that we're going to do here as well with BombBomb. And so we have the Remax 10, and then I'll put my referral code in there as well. I'll send out the link to those people who haven't purchased it yet. So we're actually looking at maybe adding a few things to it. So if you haven't purchased it, just wait, and I'll send out the information.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Justin. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
I'm going to have him stop recording.